Welcome back to Counter Culture. I'm here with Pastor Mark, who is on fire today. So I expect that to continue. Is on fire an 80s word? Is it an 80s phrase? What is it?
I don't know.
What
I
musical
wasn't
does it
around
come
in
from?
the 80s.
What musical does on fire come from?
I don't think it did.
I'm sure it did.
I don't think it did.
I bet it did.
Let me ponder it a while.
You ponder it and break out into song when you figure it out. Ready?
Okay.
2 Corinthians chapter 2. Been thinking about our culture again today, thinking about being counter culture and what it means to be counterculture. And there seems to be a tidbit of information. I'm going to read it, hopefully not get convicted, so that we can, do this for everybody else and not for me. Are you ready? Now, if anyone, starting verse 5, now if anyone has caused pain, he has caused it not to me, but in some measure, not to put it too severely, to all of you. For such a one, this punishment by the majority is enough. So you should rather turn to forgive and comfort him, or he may be overwhelmed by excessive sorrow. So I beg you to reaffirm your love for him. For this is why I wrote, that I might test you and know whether you are obedient in everything. Anyone whom you forgive, I also forgive. Indeed, what I have forgiven, if I have forgiven anything, has been for your sake in the presence of Christ, so that we would not be outwitted by Satan, for we are not ignorant of his designs. I love this because I think our culture is absolutely caught in the middle of this, right? As Christians, how many times have we heard Christians pointing out the sins of others and continually reminding us, especially high-profile people, right? Continually reminding us of the sins of others. And Paul here says, hey, you better be really careful in that. And as Christians, we need to focus not on pointing out other people's sins, but we need to focus on the forgiveness aspect of it, right? And partly because we know, the last part there, we know the schemes of the enemy. We know what Satan wants to do with this stuff. He wants to cause division and all of these kind of things. So first, tell me whether or not you agree with that concept. But then, what are you seeing in the damage of people continually remembering the sins of other and not leaning towards forgiveness?
Well, let's take, yes. And let's take what you talked about there is that we relish in the sins of others.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we don't like pain, but it's like I tell my colleagues, we all want to see a miracle. We just don't want to be the one that has to get the miracle.
Yep.
We all like seeing someone miraculously healed. We just don't want to be the one that has to have the miraculous healing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes what it is if we can look over there and say, "Oh man, look at their sin over there," then no one's looking here.
Right.
It's a diversion in some cases.
Ooh, I like that.
Or if I can point out what you didn't do, how bad of a Christian you are, then I hope someone's paying attention to how bad that Christian is, because then no one's having to pay attention to how bad maybe what I'm not getting right.
Right. I love the fact that Paul says here we need to concentrate on forgiveness.
Yes.
But on comforting him, or he may be overwhelmed by excessive sorrow. I wonder how many of us are going to be in the presence of God someday, and he's going to call us out on this. You brought excessive sorrow to somebody. Your continual remembrance of this, your continual reminding other people of this, your continual pointing out how bad this person is, right? Brought overwhelming and excessive sorrow to the person.
Well, it goes to what is our intention?
Ooh.
Because we do need to, if I'm sitting here, I mean, as my brother in Christ, I would hope that you would say, Mark, there's something going on I want to talk to you about. I don't think it's really, you're not at your best when you do this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And I would hope you would do that. We're supposed to help each other
Sure.
and spur one another onto good works and to help each other grow in our relationship with God and to become more Christ-like. What is holiness? It's Jesus. So that we can become more like Jesus in the way we live our lives. Now, so there is that piece where Paul in the reason he wrote 2 Corinthians is because 1 Corinthians he said, you got to expel the guy. He's poison.
Yep.
He's not being who he's supposed to be. He's going to One bad apple don't ruin the whole bunch. So get rid of the bad apple. Don't get rid of her. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. However you want to put it, all the metaphors you want to use in little quips. But and this is why he writes 2 Corinthians. He says, okay, there are times for correction, but why are you doing the correction? Is it, yeah, we got you now, or is it, look, this is what's got to happen for now. This is what's got to happen for now. But now we're not going to leave you there because we don't want you just floundering. You need to understand, here's why the discipline took place, or any if you want to go even so far as the punishment. Okay, if it's for the purpose of correction and helping you become a better person, a more Christ-like person, that is a different situation. And that's where I think Paul's saying, don't let them linger. Yes, there's times for correction, but don't let it stay there where they get so broke down that now it's keeping them from the intention you had in the first place.
I like that. So I have a question. Let me make it political in nature only because of the question, right? Do you think that most people, and when I say most people, let's just make it, do you think most Christians, right, who think that our current president should not be president, right? Do you think that they think that they're more concerned with him being a better president, or they're more concerned with him just simply not being president?
I don't know that I would say most, but I think there are many, or there are some who would say yes. It just, as a friend of mine said to me one time when I had been wounded by somebody, he goes, "How are you praying for that person, Mark?" Yep. I was like, you had to go there, did you? Okay, because I wasn't.
Right.
I was praying that he would lose one of his scoops of ice cream off his, ice cream cone, so that that show him and smite his ice cream cone. As opposed to, Lord, show them their other ways. So, it's kind of funny. We want God to straighten out everybody else, but we don't want him to straighten out us.
You've said that twice at least now in this whole idea. We want other people to have the need for the miracle, not us. It's funny because we were talking about earlier about a comedian, right, who was doing her routine, right, was talking about how she has not got the coronavirus now, right? And she mentioned that Jesus likes her more than anybody else, type of comment. And she took about 2 more breaths and then she passed out, right? So I looked it up to make sure that the person who told us the story was right.
Right.
And they were right? But it's funny because I was thinking about that and thinking, our immediate reaction is, well, she got what she deserved. Like, look at what God did there. God smote her. Right. She mentioned God's name, and
pride always goeth before the fall.
But is my main concern that she got smoted by Jesus, or shouldn't it be that she got Jesus? Right? Shouldn't I be more concerned about the fact that she got Jesus? Now, she ended up falling and cracking her skull, right? So this is a pretty big deal, right? And she's in the hospital. But I'm thinking, how many of us, our initial reaction is, well, she got what she deserved. Look at what God did.
That'll learn her.
Yeah.
That'll learn her.
But our reaction when people sin and our reaction when people fall shouldn't be, our pastor got what he deserved. Look at what he did.
Yes.
It ought to be forgiveness and comfort.
Where's grace? Where's mercy? Yeah.
Right. And again, I'm pretty sure that the woman and the Holy Spirit are probably doing some comedian business right now anyway. I don't know that I need to point that out 100,000 times.
And even in a more recent revelation of something that happened several years ago politically, I will not name it what, so that we don't get thrown in jail, Facebook jail. Grace and mercy does not mean a pass.
Nope.
It does not mean a pass. God is a just God, and there are some things that we do need to see justice happen. So because otherwise, it's already happening. I mean, there's no rule of law. There is no respect for law. It's just do whatever you want. Each one did what was right in their own eyes, or the things that are being deemed, this is bad, are actually not such bad things, and it's just craziness what's going on. And so Is it a matter? Do we relish in people's pain and seeing what they're going through? There are times I pray for people for blessed friction. Now, that is for the purpose. It's blessed. It's holy friction. It's for the purpose. God, if you need to let them feel the pain of what their choices, that is redeeming that moment so that God can use it. That God has redeemed so many of my moments of ignorance and then some of most stupidity to help me learn. I went through a dark night of the soul about 10 years ago. Dark night does not mean evil. It just means I can't see. God, I don't know what you're doing here. For him to work in my life, to work in my and it was terrible, and yet it was a beautiful thing because God said you had to trust me through that. That we want to rescue everybody. We don't want anybody to feel pain. You know, and that's not what Paul's talking about here. I don't think he says this person has gone through the pain. I think they've learned their lesson. Now we need to bring them to a place. Let's help them out of the pit.
Yeah, I think there's
which is what we don't want to do. We just they got their comeuppance. Now wait a minute here.
There's a big difference between God allowing somebody to hit rock bottom and you and I stoning somebody.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
They're at the bottom, so let's just add to it and throw some stones, right?
That's right. And then, hey, by the way, since you hit rock bottom, we're not going to let you climb back out.
Yep.
So every time you get up, we're going to push you down. And I think, again, it is hard, especially when you get the adrenaline and the feelings going and the wrongdoing that's been done and all of the pain. And sometimes, you know, that's very real, close pain, right? And you're feeling all of that stuff. It is hard to focus on forgiveness and comfort.
Well,
not excessive sorrow.
Right. And we know from a previous governor in this state,
Yeah.
you know, God didn't do that. I did that.
Yeah.
That is a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yep.
Okay, and there's another government official, not in this country, but north of us, who really needs to, I'm praying that he realizes you need to be careful, son.
I love what you said there because, again, in that Nebuchadnezzar moment, right, is our initial reaction, oh, you're going to get it. Oh, you're going to get it. Or is it, oh, I hope you don't get it. I hope you don't get it, right? Because we have this desire for people to get it.
Yeah. And because it's a dangerous place to be when we start thinking that we are, we know better than God. I mean, as our friend Nate says, he told me this one time, and I like telling God how he should handle things. And Nate says, I love that goes, and God goes, oh, thank you. I never thought of that. You know,
it's the slow motion in it that makes it.
As I have said many times, God doesn't have his doctorate. I do. He should listen to me more. Yeah, right. Okay. Joking.
There you go. Well, let's leave it right there. Let's leave it for counterculture. Hey, we'll be back next time. Choose comfort and forgiveness over excessive things of life.
Right.
Hey, we'll see you next time.